Hello and welcome then to the first Rugby League Down South of 2014. I've had a busy few months, more of that a little later on, but with the season just round the corner, let's get the Rugby League Down South ball rolling once again. On the programme today then, Barnet and the Hive owner Tony Kleanthous, the man who's decided to take an element of the London Broncos under his skin. We'll also hear from the London Broncos Mike Bishay, who's decided against a contract in Australia to further his career and development in London. A few of your comments too. In fact, before we get going, it's been announced this evening that Super League from 2015 will be a 12-team tournament. There'll be a 12-team championship as well, and it looks like the proposal of doing two divisions of 12 going down to 3/8 towards the end of the season was the option that we'll be gone with, and the option that will be ratified by the RFL at a board meeting next week. So I had a few comments flying around on Twitter. If you want to send me your thoughts anytime, at Ian Ramsdale, or follow that for all the latest news of things going on in London Rugby League. More on the signings later on, but in particular with the RFL, I did mention on Twitter that I seem to recollect Brian Barwick on this programme last year saying that he thought the RFL were done with being innovative. Is this going against that with this 12 or 2 12s into 3/8? Andy sending me a message on Twitter at Ian Ramsdale saying not innovative, just desperate. Mark saying hopefully stay away fans will now vote with their feet again. Boom or bust? He says boom. Old Poss, I think, on Twitter saying, Ian, at least 2014 will now be interesting as 2 teams will be cut, but the devil is in the detail of allocation for funds in 2015. It's crucial. And David saying the next Rugby League Down South is going to be interesting regarding the divisions. Maybe the second 2 lots of 8 could be arranged geographically, because I don't know about your thoughts. I haven't really voiced this too much on Twitter. I might do a blog on it in the next day or two. But I think that if you do have promotion relegation, it works not against expansion and development and geographical spread, but it makes it more difficult. I think that the licence structure was needed and the right environment to try and grow particular areas of the sport. I mean, you just go back to how things were done with the Catalans when they were first put in. They were on a licence of such in that they were exempt from relegation. I think potentially you're going to have to look at things like that if you want to geographically grow the sport in the future, because otherwise the stronghold clubs will keep a hold of it. As we've seen in football, very, very difficult to break into those top few teams. The rest below sort of go round in a cycle, don't they? That may well happen to rugby league, who knows, in the future. But it's I'm not sure you can arrange the middle 2/8 geographically, Dave, because I think that the middle of the 3/8, sorry, geographically, is I think it'll just be the top 4 from each division either side, really. That seems to be the way that things will be done. But yeah, interesting to find out what the detail exactly will be, because it's not at all straightforward, is it? It's going to be an interesting year or two ahead for rugby league. When is it not, though? I hear you say. Katie saying as well, brilliant news in my opinion about time. And I said, will it simply be the bottom 2 in Super League 19 that get relegated at the end of the year? Therefore 4 down from the championship, although John pointing out Toulouse seemed to think that they're in 2015, so that would mean that if you included 2 promoted from Championship 1 as well, which I guess you wouldn't have. I guess there would be no promotion from Championship 1 this year, because I just don't know how it would work. But then it would be 7 down from the Championship, which is another reason I think why it wouldn't happen. So, but there might be 5 down, the 4 Toulouse coming in. Again, interesting times for the Championship on the way. And Neil sending me a message on Twitter as well saying, well, the Bulls and the Broncos are already at a disadvantage. No money and a scratch squad. Does seem to me a little bit unfair to lay this down so close to the season with particular things going on. But these things were not the fault of anyone else. The situation that the Broncos and the Bulls are in or have been through, no one else is at fault. They knew that the plans for 2015 and beyond weren't finalised. So they potentially shouldn't see this as at all surprising, although I do think it obviously puts certain people at a disadvantage, but it always was going to do whenever it came in. I just think I wonder whether there should have been slightly more warning and advanced thought into how it was going to go, but we will see when the details come out next week. Be delighted to hear your thoughts. If you want to email, the email address rldownsouth@gmail.com, or you can tweet at Ian Ramsdale, or use the hashtag, which increasingly more people are doing. It's good to see, RLDS, for Rugby League Down South. So I'll canvass the views of people within RLDS this week to bring you that on the next podcast. But next, hear from the Barnet and the Hive chairman, Tony Kleanthous. Barnet, then, the partners in the future of the Broncos securing a deal to play at the Hive, which is a multi-complex sports arena. If you are listening to this on the Friday night, which I'm publishing, there's an open day at the Hive on the Saturday, which is Saturday the 18th of January. If you can make it along, an open day there to all day where you can go and find out about the membership and the season tickets and stuff. I won't go into details here, but you can find all the details on the London Broncos website. But he decided to let the Broncos play at the Hive, which seems to be for low/no rent. They'll take money from the match day events, which means that they have an opportunity to have revenue. You'd have thought the more people they get through the doors, the more revenue they have. Broncos and David Hughes will get money from the administration and the league, and will pay for the administration and the running of the club as it is on a day-to-day basis. But Tony Kleanthous, then, why did he decide to get involved with the Broncos? And I went to see him, I've got to say, it was a couple of weeks ago. In fact, let me just check the date of exactly when this was, then it can be accurate. It was the 19th of December that I went to see Tony Kleanthous, did the interview for the BBC, and you may have seen some quotes, but here is the interview in full. He wasn't exactly feeling great, was Kleanthous, the day that I saw him. A little bit under the weather, but did say the way that people work at Barnet, they get up, they go to work, they go home, they go to bed, they get up, they go to work, they go home, and they work very hard. So he's a hard worker, a man there, and you can hear his thoughts now on why he decided to take on a partnership for 2 years with the London Broncos.
Well, let me be clear. I mean, I know nothing about rugby. I wouldn't claim to be an expert on the sport at all. And I only really took note of it over the last few months when we were talking to London Broncos. And, God, it's exciting, isn't it? I watched a couple of games on the telly and I was stunned by how exciting it is. And I've always given it a bit of a wide berth before. But I have to say I was very impressed with the sport. And but more importantly, I know the chaps at the RFL. Obviously, Brian Barwick is an ex-colleague of mine at the FA, and it's interesting when you talk to them about their plans and their vision for Rugby Football League going forward. It's quite clear that there's an opportunity, and London needs a Rugby Football League club. Rugby Football League needs a London club, and to see the demise of Broncos was a real shame. Because the only thing wrong with the club, you've got an owner there who's put a lot of money into the business. And I have the utmost respect for David Hughes and what he's done there. But what they haven't done is set down any roots. And they need to do that. And I felt that's where we could help.
Well, this is only initial 2-year partnership. A lot of people talk about the roots and the fact that they've gone from place to place and they've changed their names and things. Do you see potential that if it does go well, this could be a real sort of long-term partnership and really putting down those roots?
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. My ambition for Barnet Football Club has always been to build a 10,000 stadium, and that's the correct size for them as well. So, we're going to see how we get along, see how the sports coexist alongside each other, and if we find that we get on quite well and things are good, then we can grow together. So we've got a lot of ideas for the future, but what we're trying to do is probably have a bit of courtship before the marriage.
Is this the first time you've gone into a partnership like this with the football club?
I'm not aware of the football club having a ground share arrangement in the past, and certainly not in my 20 years. So it's new territory. But, the Hive has become... A lot of people see Barnet Football Club synonymous with the Hive, and of course Barnet Football Club plays at the Hive. But the Hive in itself has become internationally recognised. I mean, it's a first-class training facility. We've put a huge amount of investment in, coming up to 26 million now. When we build the new medical centre, that's another £4 million of investment in scanning technology and medical technology. We hope to have the first dedicated concussion and neurology measurement site. So we're doing a lot of developments here that are unique, and I think there's a natural fit to have another sport alongside Barnet Football Club here. And, it's a good fit. We think it can really work well. We announced the big deal with Toshiba a few months ago. We've had Germany and Chile training here. We then announced the big medical centre. We've announced London Broncos, and we've got a couple more announcements to come. So there's loads of things going on here. It's really exciting times, and I'm just enjoying watching the whole place grow.
What does it mean for the football club in particular? I mean, will the partnership with the Broncos make you any money that you could put into the football club, to put into the business here?
God, it'd be nice to have something that makes money, wouldn't it? I mean, we do a hell of a lot of community work here, and our focus is, we need income, because income finances the clubs and everything we do here. But our focus is actually just getting better at what we do. So what tends to happen is any money we make ends up going back into the facilities, and we just keep improving and improving. And it's just, as I said, it's fun and it's exciting. What we're building here is completely unique, an international class sporting venue, training site, up the road from Wembley. So it's a great location. We've got access by tube, as well as being near the M1 motorway. So, you look at it and you think, actually, that's a great spot for what they're trying to do. And I think we get our satisfaction from the plaudits. So, no, it's good stuff.
I'm just thinking in terms of your football fans that might be listening to this and hearing it. It's a good thing for them, isn't it, I guess?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I have a facility. If you take the stadium, our season's going to finish in April, or Barnet Football Club season's going to finish in April. The Broncos season starts late February, plays through March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Our football season doesn't start again until September. So we carry costs for many, many months. We carry the costs and have no income. What this allows us to do is now have income 12 months a year. So what it means for Barnet Football Club is we're sharing some of those costs now. And that's a really big advantage for us going forward.
And in terms of the deal itself for London Broncos, can you tell us about how it works out? Obviously, I guess with them using these facilities, they're paying out less than they have done previously. So their cost base has been reduced, which is what they've said. But I guess there must be something in it for you as well.
No, of course. We're marketing and running the games, and using the income from that to run the facility. So they save on their costs, we save on our costs. Everything's good.
And you have any say in how the business goes, or is that all left to them?
No, they run the rugby club. You wouldn't want me to run the rugby club.
I'm just
I have enough trouble running a football club at the moment.
Which is that you're putting in your money, albeit through facilities and through the what you have here, but that has reduced their cost base.
Yeah. Look, I think what you have is two parties who are both happy with the arrangement. Neither of us got exactly things the way we wanted them, but both of us got something that we felt we could work with. More importantly, it's given a new lease of life to London Broncos, and what I want to see is them do really, really well. Just as I want to see my football club do well. So I'm hoping that we have a saying in business. A good deal is when 1 and 1 makes 3. I'm hoping in this case 1 and 1 will make 4 or 5.
And you've already said about the money that David Hughes has put in and what he's done for the game. I'm sure people have explained that to you. But was there ever a possibility that you might have bought the Broncos and you take on the sole running yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've talked about all those kind of things. I'm just not ready at the moment to get. I have a labour of love with Barnet Football Club that I can't. I just, for some mad, inexplainable reason, I just can't seem to be able to get away from it. It's just I have to do better. I have to see Barnet Football Club do better before I can start thinking about involving myself in other things in that way. I desperately want my football club to succeed. So that's my focus from a sporting perspective. And it actually means I can sit down and watch a Broncos game and enjoy it, because I do not enjoy any game Barnet Football Club plays in. It's appalling. I hate it. It's a real torture. Not because our football's bad, but because it just means so much. So I want to actually put my feet up and watch David Hughes sort of get tense in his seat for a change, while I just put my feet up and enjoy the spectacle.
We talk about enjoying the game, which is good to hear, because I guess it must have been a lot of hard work to get to this point where you can now, or you will be looking forward to enjoying it. It must have been a tough journey.
Yeah, what you mean in relation to the Broncos? Yeah, I mean, there were times when I thought there wouldn't be a London Broncos, and I just felt that would be a shame. A lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort's gone into that club. It would be wrong to really tear it up now. So I'm pleased we've played a small part in keeping them ticking a little bit longer, and let's hope that we will be able to be the final solution for them.
And I guess from what you've seen, looking at those games and being impressed with the spectacle that you've seen, maybe goes to show how much of a bit of a marketing task is on getting people into rugby league, because there is a bit of a barrier that you need to get people over before they come and see the sport, because, like you said, you hadn't really gone anywhere near it before.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, get on down and have a look. We're going to have some fun. I think we're going to get good crowds, a good atmosphere, and have a good fun time. But then I'm the eternal optimist, so, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to the first game.
Interesting thoughts then from Tony Kleanthous, the man who owns Barnet and owns the Hive, where London Broncos will play. Interestingly, that the Hive is actually in Edgware. It's not in, it is in Harrow, the London Borough of Harrow, not Barnet. The football club moving from Barnet and their Underhill ground a couple of years ago, and in fact, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? And Broncos now using Underhill as their training base, which is only one pitch. It's the old stadium. They're having the offices converted. We'll hear, in fact, maybe we'll hear from Sean Long a little later in this programme as well. I've forgotten we'd heard from, that I'd spoken to Sean Long, so I'll play that interview in just a second once we've heard from Mike Bishay. But yes, they're training there, and interesting to hear Kleanthous already buying into like the RFL rhetoric of the importance of rugby league in London. I wonder what will happen in the next week or two with the restructure and things, because it does seem like, if there isn't the Super League element of it, then I don't know. Not that the Kleanthous will lose interest as such, but a lot of people presuming that he's going to buy into the club or buy the club at some point or even next year. I think details like that are still a long way from being resolved, but the state that the club are in and the way that the club goes will be an interesting scenario to throw into the mix. But that the thoughts of the Barnet and Hive chairman Tony Kleanthous here on Rugby League Down South. Be great to hear your comments about what you think. If you do want more details on the deal itself, I must say the most comprehensive article that I've ever written about the Broncos. It concerns the turbulent year that they've had and the months of ongoing negotiations. It's in Rugby League World magazine. You can buy it in shops, you can get it online, you can download it on your tablet device or iPad. Have a look for Rugby League World. I think it's about $2.99. I may try in a 3 weeks' time or so to publish the piece as text on a blog, but because of the obviously writing it for the magazine, they're trying to sell copies and subscriptions. I dare say it's a good article. It's a very comprehensive article if you'd like to read it, but Rugby League World is the place to go. And if you want to find out what it was like for me covering the the events of the last few months, then you can read that in 4020 magazine, which just hopefully gives you a bit of an insight into how my life was at the time. Again, you can download it or buy it in shops or order it online at 4020 magazine. Great monthly feature-driven rugby league industry paper is what I like to call it, but a great paper is a 4020 magazine. Great magazine is Rugby League World as well. Good friend of mine, Gareth Walker, currently the editor there, so hopefully I'll do a few more pieces for Rugby League World in this season as well. So there's where to find out more details and the detail that maybe you wouldn't get on this podcast in such. Let's turn our attention now to signings of players. On Monday, the Broncos announced that they had 11 current players registered. They had then 3 join on loan from Leeds. They had a number of other people which they've drip-fed over this week. So the squad now starting to look a little bit fuller. It was Denny Solomona, wasn't it, yesterday? Looks like a bright signing. Then Ben Ross, a forward, added today. Had been put into retirement, really, considering retirement. Wanted to play on, but was not sure quite how or where that was going to be. And from the quotes that Tony Ray said, it was the easiest deal they've ever done, getting Ben Ross. So 33-year-old, experience, plays state of origin, and is a forward as well. Be impressive to see how he fits in with the mix. They definitely needed some brawn. They definitely needed some brain. Ross, who actually lives down under, I have unofficially appointed him as the NRL correspondent for Rugby League Down South. Sent me a message saying, good signing, best front row signing I've seen Broncos make for a few years. Add leadership big time. So high praise from Ross. Anne said, Ross is a good signing, but they need at least one more prop and 2 back rowers to avoid a weekly massacre. In fact, no, that wasn't Anne. That was journalist. I'm going to get his name wrong now. Neil Whisker of the Sunday People saying Ross is a good signing, but they need at least one more prop and 2 back rowers to avoid a weekly massacre. I want to bring you the thoughts of Anne as well, to which the response from Nigel came, because basically Anne was saying that, well, you know, it's starting to look more interesting, but it's really so difficult to read at the moment. Just scrolling down my Twitter feed of reaction from the last day or two. Obviously, it's been quite a busy few days, so can't currently find Anne's comment. There it is, and saying 17 players fitted the bill last year on paper, but sadly not on the pitch. 38 played last year. We're still very short of numbers. That's thought of Anne on Twitter, at Ian Ramsdale. Christopher saying, London appear to be building a competitive squad considering the off-season. That's a fairly remarkable achievement. Sam saying the big concern is the halves. Really need an organiser with a good kicking game and a player with spark. And, you know, if you would like to send your thoughts, at Ian Ramsdale on Twitter, use the hashtag RLDS or the email, as ever, I always say, rldownsouth@gmail.com. Let's now hear from Mike Bishay, one of the young Londoners that have been brought through the system. Sad to see Phil Jones depart the club, as we mentioned on our previous programme here. But Bishay, with all the turmoil, decided to take a contract down under. It wasn't an NRL contract, so he was going to play in obviously the divisions below the NRL and see if he could make a name for himself and continue his development, and thought that it would obviously be a good worldly experience as well, as he'll explain in just a second. But then when Broncos looked like sorting themselves out and got themselves a deal, well, he decided he wanted to stay because London was best for his development. Here is what he told me, and again, apologies, this interview was done many weeks ago. Again, back on the 19th of December, Michael Bishay talking to me about why he decided to stay with London. Mate, well, first of all, we heard that you were off. Broncos were going through a bit of a tough patch, but things have figured out. You've now decided that you're going to stay. Is that right?
That is correct. I had a nice offer in Australia, but I've decided to dedicate my hobby to London.
And why is that?
The offer in Australia wasn't playing at the top flight. London obviously have brought me up since I was 13 years old. I kind of owe it to them, owe it to my mates, and yeah, it's just started to be playing Super League playing professionally. That's what I really want to do for this year.
There was a period, though, wasn't there, where the Broncos, may well not have existed in 2014 and onwards, so I guess you had to consider other options.
Yeah, of course, there was always that. It was on the back of your mind, is there going to be a club and stuff? So you had to try and get something else lined up. You got to think about yourself at that time. But then as soon as there was a Broncos again, I knew that that's where my heart was.
And so it was a fairly easy decision, was it? I mean, had you accepted anything down under? Did you have to wriggle out of anything, or was it all on ice?
It wasn't an easy decision at all, to be fair. The opportunity to go out to Australia, playing out in Australia, is like an amazing opportunity. I'm only 20 years old as well, so it's like I'm young. I should be able to do stuff like that. So yeah, it was telling the club that I'm not signing for them was very tough, because they've been so good to me. They'd helped me out. They made it easy for me, really. So yeah, obviously telling them was pretty difficult.
And what was your contract situation? Did you have a contract that was going to run into 2014 anyway?
At London?
Yeah.
No, with London, I was out of contract for this year.
And they wanted to keep you, but you obviously were looking at other options.
Yeah.
And so, how did it all come about? Obviously, first of all, tell me how delighted you must have been when you heard the news last week that Broncos were secure.
Yeah, I was over the moon when Broncos was alive again. Not just for myself, but for all the boys as well, and everyone that had been involved. But everyone had to stick together. We'd been told to stick together right from the start. And I think that's what everyone did, to be honest. And yeah, we got there in the end.
Do you think this might have pulled a few of the boys together? Because, like you say, it was not an easy time, but you as players do seem to really have stuck together. And I know that there were various conversations that have gone on, and you were all together. You were all sticking at it as a team. Has this maybe drawn a few people or everyone closer?
Yeah, definitely. As well as being the only London club, us boys together, we're very close. We look out for each other, and we're always going to stick up for London. So when you see people on social media talking about Broncos and saying they should have a rugby league in London, it's hard to take in, and you really trying to stick up for the club. But yeah, the boys are really close, and we'll always help each other out.
Well, I'm just wondering whether this situation has brought you closer together, because it really wasn't an easy time, was it? And the players have all stuck together as one unit.
Yeah, definitely. It has brought us closer together, and we've realised that now we've got here, we've done all the hard work to get here. Let's let the pre-season begin, let's start ripping in, and let's have a good year.
How difficult has it been as well? Because there's been various stories around, that the club only wanted to keep hold of a few players. I was told that was only, as little as 6. But obviously some players remained on contract. And I think when things started to happen, when you started to get together as a team, thinking that there was good news around the corner, there was maybe 11 or 12 of you. How difficult has it been with people not knowing quite what the situation has been at any particular time?
Yeah, it has been difficult just because people need to get their lives on track. Like some of the boys have got families to look after, look out for. Some of the boys from up north, and of course, no one wants to be in that situation. But at the end of the day, it does happen. It has happened, and we'll build from what's happened. We'll be stronger, and it will make us better in the future.
And is there any animosity from any of the players towards, anything else, further wider in the game or the club, or is everyone still in this together?
Yeah, definitely. There's no one that's just gone off on their own and done their own thing. All the boys, we're in it together. If we've got through it, there's no point leaving it now. You've gone through the hard bit, you got through the tough time, so yeah, just keep going strong.
And you talk about that tempting offer from Australia and the fact that you're only 20. I guess another season or two with the Broncos could well put you in the picture for, furthering your career. And if an opportunity at top level down under came up, then, I guess, this could be a better way through than going down under now.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I looked at it. Just knowing that I'll be playing top level in Super League. Australia's not going anywhere. I've got all my life to go out there and play in the New South Wales Cup, the Queensland Cup. And play out there and experience. I wasn't just going out there for the rugby, I was going to go out there for the life experience as well. But then I realised I do want to play. I love playing professional rugby. I want to carry on playing. I want to play in Super League, and then in the future, maybe this could lead me to one day playing in an NRL club, something like that. We've just got to see what happens.
And what about future signings for the Broncos? I'm not expecting you to give names or whether you'd actually know names of who may join you at Broncos in 2014, but are you all still in the mood of, wanting to be competitive, expecting to be competitive? Because everyone is saying at the moment that whatever team will be recruited, it's not going to be a strong team and that they won't be competitive. Do you still feel that you can be as a squad?
Well, I definitely wouldn't be at the club if I didn't feel that we could be competitive, because obviously playing rugby, you want to win. So I strongly believe in Tony, Gus, that they can bring a good squad together, and then we can compete. I'm not saying we're going to win Super League, because you have to be realistic, but we'll push for playoffs, and I believe that we've got talent in the squad already that's good enough. The players that they bring in, they'll work with us, and we'll work together, and we'll make it. We'll do something good.
And do the club mention any other names or people they're talking to, to try and persuade you, and say we are going to be competitive, or is this just a belief that you have?
Just a belief that I have generally. I don't know who they're looking to bring in, but obviously we've got Sean Long down now as an assistant coach. He'll know players. He knows he's played for Great Britain, and he'll work well with Tony. And I trust him to bring a good squad that will be able to challenge.
What do you think about the Barnet deal? You're obviously training at Underhill already, I think, aren't you? And the prospect of playing at what they call the Hive. Have you been there? Had a look round?
I haven't personally been to the Hive yet, but it's a good deal for the club. Obviously, it's a smaller stadium. We weren't selling too many tickets to Stoke. For the club moving to North London, we'll have a good fan base around there. It's close to up north, so people's like an hour on a journey, saves like an extra hour. So you get more fans from up north coming down as well. So all in all, it is a good move for Broncos.
And is it closer to your family potentially? Because I know you obviously came through Hemel originally.
Oh, no, I've always been from West London. I've always been a Felton boy.
Ah, okay.
Further away from me, I'll be moving to North London. But it's just part and parcel of the job, isn't it? If I wasn't happy with it, I wouldn't do it. But I'm ready to start a new chapter.
And could this really be the start of something new for Broncos? It's all brand new. It all needs to be good. It all needs to be different. Do you get a feeling that it could really be a special time?
Yeah, I definitely do. There's no pressure on us. Everyone's already saying we're going to finish bottom. There shouldn't be another Broncos. We're out to prove people wrong. Everyone thinks we're going to lose every week. What's the pressure on us? And you've seen some of the talent we've produced before, and the talent we're producing at the moment come through the academy. It's exciting times for the whole club.
So good to see Mike Bishay stay with the London club. To keep those London youngsters is crucial. It looks like Broncos are going to have very inexperienced, but they'll have a very passionate and enthusiastic squad for 2014, all of which will have an element of London Rugby League within their blood from those youngsters. And then the new signings that come in, they're young, they're vibrant, okay, not necessarily with the forward added today in Ben Ross, but they are hopefully going to buy into that with the amount of Londoners, the amount of young people that are around. So I think there'll be exciting times, but at the moment, obviously, they are slightly shorter bodies. I think that the enthusiasm and the skill and the excitement of the youngsters will back a few wins, but I'm not too sure that too many are going to come along this year. That's my thoughts at the moment, although I have told many people I'm reserving judgment until I see quite the final squad that the Broncos managed to put together. And yes, while I remember, let's hear from Sean Long. Managed to talk to him as well a good few weeks ago. I wonder if I can find you the exact date of that as to when it was, but managed to get hold of him and confirm that he'd signed a 12-month contract. And yes, it was back on the 3rd of January that I spoke to Sean Long. So again, a week ago, just over. But this the thoughts of him and to why he decided to come to London, what he makes of it. And again, interesting to hear his thoughts on the London thing and how he is bought into it as well. Here is the new assistant coach for the London Broncos in Sean Long.
It's the question that I ask many people when they come to London for the first time and do stuff with the Broncos. Why choose the Broncos?
I just felt that, there was an opportunity for myself and for London, if it works both ways, to create a good opportunity for us to get back up the ladder where we should be, and for me to promote and prolong my coaching career. So I think it's an ideal opportunity for both parties to, if I do well on my coaching career, then obviously the boys will do really well, and then we can sort of add off each other really, and moving to a new ground, which is vital for us, moving up to North London now and getting a new fan base, and I think it will all come together quite well.
I think, it's needless to say that the Broncos aren't in a great situation at the moment, still not with a squad announced or, many players signed for next year. You must have seen some potential in there, like you say, because if you're, a coach that wants to progress up through the ranks over the years, you must see the fact that there is this potential in London.
Oh, 100%. We're training 10 or 11 boys. We've been training 10 or 11 boys for the last 3 to 4 weeks now. And there's potential there, do you know what I mean? That's all we've been working with at the moment. And there's potential there. Probably, half of those are going to play this year, if not more. Once we've added towards the squad what we're going to do over the next few weeks, they will be starting players. So, honestly, they're pure athletes, purebred athletes. These guys can sprint. They're very powerful. And that's my job now then to obviously coach them into rugby players.
Are they really Super League quality though? I mean, I know that people do, talk about the potential and the talent that London have, but over recent years they've been good. There's been a few players that have come through, but they really need the experienced Super League players around them really in those games.
Yeah, of course you do. If you throw in 13 lads raw, not really played much footy together, then they would struggle. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but if we can put a nice blend of players in with about 4 or 5 local London boys, they won't be out of place at all. We're making some good signings now. Hopefully they'll come off in the next 2 to 3 days, and you'll start to hear about them. And then once the team starts coming together, then the local London boys will they'll get the chance and they'll fit in rather nicely. And it's exciting times, to be fair, because everyone's written us off already. Everyone has written us off straight away. Now, in the past, we've always had a good team, a good chance. We've spent the salary cap. This year, we haven't done nothing. We haven't paid anything. So, it's opposite way around this time. So, we might surprise a few people there.
With those players that are coming in, I don't know whether you can give any names away or anything, but should people be excited about the players that are going to join?
Well, this year, and I don't know what's happened before, some people maybe have just come over for the money. We don't want that. You know what I mean? We want them to come over and play for a club, to make a name for themselves, whether they're ever coming from up north or whether they're coming from Australia or New Zealand. But we do want them to come to promote themselves as a player. We don't want them to come and just take the paycheck and run off. That's not what it's all about. We want them to work for the club and work for one another and create a good environment. So I think it'll be a lot different this year.
And do you think those players that will come, will be names that people will know about and will go, okay, these are the experienced players that London need?
I think some people they'll not know. Honestly, do. But they'll be the best ones. We've been looking out there now for the last six months, you know what I mean, for the players. Some of them have already been taken. There's a couple they might know if we get them. But what I'm saying is that some of them, and the best players aren't always the well-known, you know what I mean? But there's the ones that will surprise people, they're the best ones, the workers, and that's who we need. The lads who are going to work for 80 minutes and push for one another when you're in the trenches, basically. That's, it's all right having a flamboyant team, but you need someone in the when you're in the trenches, and that's what type of team we're going to try to instill into us, so we're all one.
And how have you found your London experience so far? It must be peculiar or unique, because they're in a situation which I guess you don't find clubs in terribly frequently.
Yeah, not at all. It's been quite strange, to be fair, but I went into a similar situation with Salford last pre-season when they thought it was going to go into administration, and Marwan Kukash came in the last minute. So I've not been. It's not strange to me to do all this, but and it's not easy. I'll tell you that. So what it does make you, though, it makes you come closer together as a unit. The group of boys will look back in 4 or 5 months down, and what about that when we was training? There's only 7 of us, you running up hills and stuff like that. It's those memories what will kind of get you through.
And it's interesting listening to you talking about we already. You obviously feel part of the Broncos setup. Is London something that you've always supported and always thought has the potential, or is this something you've learned sort of with the conversations and with the time you've spent in the capital so far?
Well, I've always wanted a club in London. I've always promoted it. If you had a choice, we always needed a club in the capital, 100%. But since I've been down here now, Tony Smith, Tony Ray has already said. He said, one day you'll get it. You'll just get it, mate. And because he's so passionate about it, and it's only the last probably 2 or 3 weeks I've got it. That everyone else is against us, but we're down here on our own. And, I get it now. I do get it, and it's just that we're odds are against us from day one, but I do get it, and sometimes I feel like it's us a little bit against them, which I like it, and I do get it now. But I'm on board and really looking forward to the challenge, and like I say, hopefully we can surprise a few people, which no one has given us a chance this year at all. That is a fact. They think we're going to lose every game, so hopefully we can surprise a few people by nicking a few.
And you said now that you get it. Is there any way, having seen that and you've been through that transition, is there a way you think that London can go about getting that message to others without everyone having to spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in London and seeing it before they get it? Is there something that London can do that would get that message out there for them? Is it winning games? Is it being competitive?
I think obviously 1, winning games, 2, could be being competitive, but 3, we've got to start marketing it better. Don't get me wrong, I'm no market guru, but we need to get the name out. Look, for God's sake, we're in London here, and billboards everywhere. You should be blasting them out, and just getting the name of the London Broncos banner on wherever. It's just a whole man down here for a marketing department. So get all of that and get some of the boys out into the schools, just teaching them, half a day, just doing stuff like that. That's what we did at St Helens, and it works. And it just like I said, there's a lot to do. Not my job. I'm coaching these kids at the moment, but I'm sure we'll all pull together over the next, 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll come up with a plan. But at the moment in time, I'm just getting myself stuck into these boys.
And I know you've got to get back to that training. I've managed to nab you for a few minutes before you start this morning, so thank you for talking to us. But just finally, I think you're at Underhill, aren't you, doing your training there? Just tell me what it's like there, because I've obviously done a bit of stuff with the old Barnet Football Club when they played there. But what's it like? What's going on there? Is the developments? Is you going to have an office there? Is all that done yet? Is it being worked on?
It's being worked on. The pitch is immaculate. Unbelievable, the pitch is. Just like
although it's on a hill though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's immaculate, the pitch. They've really done it up for us. Dressing rooms clean, offices clean. They're putting offices underneath as well, so we can have all our laptops put in. They've got a weight pavilion. Do you know the old pavilion?
Yeah.
What looks over there? We're having a weights room built into and then the offices upstairs for downtime. That's all being planned as we speak, but everything else regarding the training rooms and the pitch is in perfect condition.
Right, and that's it then for Rugby League Down South for this week. That's the new assistant coach for London Broncos in Sean Long talking to me just over a week ago. As ever, delighted to hear your thoughts at any point. Apologies that it's been a while since the last programme. It's been a busy few weeks, including Christmas and then Panto. If you didn't see Twitter or you don't follow me, my social activity movement, but I wrote and was in a Panto in January, not too far away from the Hive, actually. So hopefully we're going to write another script or another couple of scripts in the next year or two, which may well be performed up and down the country, fingers crossed. So yes, it's been a bit of a busy time with all sorts of stuff happening, but my life seems to fit quite nicely with Rugby League and Panto sitting almost like a jigsaw as part of my year. When the rugby league season finishes, going to Panto rehearsal, then Panto finishes, and I'm straight back into the rugby league season. So that's generally how it goes these days. There's a couple of pictures on Twitter if you want to see. Go see my what I look like and how it all turned out. But you can find the links on my Twitter feed, twitter.com/Ian Ramsdale. Right then, so we're back hopefully very soon with another programme. I'm not entirely sure when it will be. One thing to just bear in mind though, I did ask that we would do another pubcast. People sat around in the pub chatting about the London Broncos and the situation of London Rugby League once the Broncos had decided their future. Now they have. I'm looking to do it potentially the week after the Fans Forum on the 8th of February, which is a Saturday. So maybe the Tuesday evening following that. If I just flick to my calendar, I can get you the date potentially when we might do something. We're looking maybe about the 11th of Feb. Maybe the 10th on the Monday, not sure. So dependent on if you're around, if you may have a facility in central London that we might be able to use to sit round in a room and record a discussion for the programme, be delighted to hear from you on that. rldownsouth@gmail.com. If you have previously expressed an interest in coming along to the podcast, if you don't mind emailing again, I'll just make sure that I've got the right list of people available. So give us a shout. Hopefully you'll maybe able to come along or contribute. That would be great. And yes, we will look forward to many more Rugby League Down South in 2014. Great to have your support. The programme was very well received last year, and hopefully we'll do the same again this year. Thanks very much for all your comments in advance and in the past. And I'll be back with another Rugby League Down South very, very soon. Thanks for listening.